Welcome to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right? You're standing there looking at this huge challenge, like learning English, and you just think, where do I even begin? It's
Hmm.
like staring at this, I don't know, dense forest. You feel lost before you even take a step. And let's face it, lots of us grab a grammar book first.
Yeah, and then feel totally swamped.
Exactly, overwhelmed by all the rules and stuff.
It is such a common way to start, and honestly, that feeling, it can just stop you right in your tracks.
Right.
So that's why we really dug into the sources you shared about starting English. Our whole mission today, really, is to cut through all that confusion.
Okay.
We want to pull out clear, um, actionable things you can do, steps that actually matter for you making progress, like right from the beginning.
All right, let's get into it then, because if your first instinct, like mine usually is grammar book, well, maybe think again.
Uh-huh.
Our sources, they're saying the real starting point for English isn't. It's not about perfect sentences right away. So what did the deep dive show? What's that first, maybe surprising step?
Well, it's interesting, often the most powerful stuff is also kind of simple.
Okay.
The first step, the one that kept coming up, is just pausing and asking yourself, um, why? Why do I actually want to learn English?
Huh. Just why?
Yeah, but not just as some vague idea. The sources really show that people who knew their specific reason, like maybe speaking up confidently at work, or traveling easily later on, or just watching movies without subtitles.
Right, a concrete goal.
Exactly. They're way more likely to stick with it. One study mentions something like a 35% better chance of getting past those tricky first 3 months compared to people without a clear goal.
Wow, 35%. That's significant.
It is. So knowing your why isn't just about feeling motivated, although it helps. It's like a compass. It helps you pick the right tools and keeps you going when things get tough.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just about grit, it's strategy, like knowing your destination before you start driving, kind of.
Precise.
Okay, so you've got your why. What's the next piece? Because I'm thinking, there's still that pressure, that need to be perfect, especially grammar-wise. Did the sources talk about that or suggest something else to focus on right away?
Oh, absolutely. That perfectionism thing, it came up directly. The second big step is start with the absolute basics.
Okay. Basics like?
Like really basic.
Hmm.
And crucially, don't stress about perfect grammar at this stage. The focus should be on what some sources called survival English.
Survival English.
Yeah, simple, everyday stuff you can use immediately. Think, hello, good morning. Practical questions like, what's your name? Super useful phrases like, excuse me, or I don't understand.
Gotcha. The really functional thing.
Exactly. The main idea, as the material laid it out, is building communicative confidence. Get comfortable using these common words in real situations. That gives you a quick win, a positive feeling.
Instead of getting tangled up in grammar rules that just make you freeze up.
Right. You want to avoid that anxiety that can just, kill your progress early on. It's like laying down the foundation weeks before you worry about the fancy roof tiles.
Okay. So, why first, then basic, practical phrases to build confidence? Makes sense. But here's the thing many people hit, right? How do you actually practice? Especially if you're not, like, living in London or New York.
Ah, yes. The immersion question.
That's a great question, I think. How do you create your own English environment? What kind of clever ideas did the sources have for that?
Yeah, and this is where the material got really practical and honestly quite creative. Lots of good stuff.
Like what?
Okay, so one super simple thing. Switch your phone language to English or your computer.
Oh,
You'd be amazed how quickly you start absorbing words just from the interface you use every day. Then there's listening. Actively listen to English podcasts.
like this one.
Ah, yes. Or English music. It's kind of passive exposure, but it tunes your ear to the sounds, the rhythm. And for visual stuff, watching shows or cartoons are often good because the language can be simpler with English subtitles on.
Subtitles, right.
Yeah, and one specific tip was rewatching something you already know well, like a favorite movie, but with the English subtitles. You already know the story, so it helps you connect the words.
That's smart. Leverage what you already know.
Exactly. And another one, often overlooked, keeping a journal in English. Even it's just like one sentence a day. Today I ate breakfast. Simple.
Just getting in the habit.
Right. But maybe the biggest one, the most powerful. Just speak. Speak as much as you can, even if it's just talking to yourself.
Talking to yourself, really.
Narrate what you're doing. I am cooking rice now. Or, okay, now I will go to the market. It sounds maybe a bit silly,
I was going to say.
but it works. And the sources actually had a funny line. They said, the mirror is a great listener.
Huh. I like that. No judgment from the mirror.
None at all. It's a safe space to just practice forming sentences out loud.
I love that. Making the mirror your practice buddy. It really seems like the core idea coming through all this is, well, it's about small, consistent steps, isn't it? That seems to be the philosophy.
Totally.
It definitely makes the whole idea of learning English feel, I don't know, less stressful, less like climbing Mount Everest.
It absolutely does. If we pull it all together, the key things are, first, figure out your personal why. That's your compass.
Right.
Then, focus on simple, useful words and phrases right away. Build that confidence. And consciously decide not to obsess over perfect grammar at the start.
Let it go for a bit.
Let it go. Then practice every day with these small habits, those English world tricks we talked about. Setting your phone, talking to yourself, whatever works for you.
Hmm.
And yeah, remember, the sources really push back against getting bogged down in grammar too early. Let fluency develop more naturally first, if you approach it like that.
Well, our deep dive shows learning English really doesn't have to be hard. It can actually be an enjoyable process. So, if you take just one thing away from our deep dive today, maybe it's this. Learning English isn't some impossible peak you have to scale.
Yeah.
It's actually really accessible. It's achievable, not through some massive effort all at once, but through these like surprisingly small, consistent things you do each day. The sources really empower you, I think, to just take one small step today.
Yeah.
Maybe it's learning 3 new words. Maybe it's just saying good morning to your reflection.
Exactly. And if we zoom out for a second, connect this to the bigger picture. This whole deep dive is a good reminder, isn't it, that any big thing you want to achieve, like mastering a language, or frankly, any complex goal,
Yeah.
it's usually not about grand gestures or needing a perfect start.
Right. It's the small stuff.
It's finding that why, your motivation,
Mhm.
and then just embracing those small daily steps, even the quirky ones, like talking to the mirror. They add up. They really do. So maybe the question to leave you with is, what small English step will you take today? How will you make your world just a little bit more English and actually enjoy the journey?